Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the
Good morning, everybody. I done popped this bad boy. I've been drinking it since I bought it. It's the good stuff. Anyway, everybody, I've had a lot of requests for today's video that I filmed last night. Actually, my wife filmed it while I was explaining. I kind of go over how to set up your DSP. And we all know I prefer to get a DSP that you need a laptop to pretty much set up. Now, there are DSPs that have the little buttons and knobs on them. They don't really do near as much. And to me, it would just be a lot more complicated because you can't actually see everything that's going on. I prefer this style that you hook to the laptop. Before you ask which brand is the best, man, they're pretty much all the same. A lot of people really like the Dayton. I've checked out software for the Dayton. It's pretty much just like the software for the Duff Bonch Machete M8 or whatever it is. I don't know. But the software for all of these are pretty much same. If you download software and play with the software for one, it's going to pretty much be the same for any of them. Some of them might have a feature or two more. It don't really matter. Like I said, they're pretty much all the same. Pretty self-explanatory once you get into it. And for those people of you that watch my videos, subscribe to my channel, like and comment on the videos. Studies have found that you guys are more attractive and that you're more intelligent and smarter than people that don't. And this was a study that was made up by myself. Just messing with y'all. I appreciate everybody that watches, for real. But anyway, a lot of people asked for this, and they've asked for me to explain how to run like mids, horns, tweeters, and everything. This is kind of how you do it, or the best way to do it. Now, somebody asked for me to do a video on different types of speakers, you know, like coaxial versus pro audio or regular car audio. We'll might get into that later, not this video. So, hey, enjoy the video, guys. Sorry if the camera angles are really bad. Majority of the video, we're just like filming a computer screen and me showing you how to do this shit. So, I made the video the best I could. So, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn something from it. All right, everybody. It's your homeboy Jerry here. I've had a lot of people ask me about DSPs and another question about how to run amplifiers and wire them for like horns, tweeters, mids, etc. So that's all run through the DSP. Now, for instance, you could have an individual amp for tweeters, or a 4-channel amp, and like tweeters on 2 channels like I do, A-pillars on 2 channels, and use the crossovers in the amplifiers, you know, where it says like high crossover, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's so much easier to do it this way. So right here, you can see my little mouse pointer. This is channel 1 and 2 of the amplifier. So this would be like left, and number 2 would be right. This is the output level for the RCAs. You can adjust how loud you want it by going up or turning it down. That's one way to adjust the volume. If you look at this graph down here at the bottom, where you see this, it's all a teal color. If we go up here to Butterworth, that's one. We can choose Linkwitz, Raleigh. This would be the slope. High pass is 6 dB. Now we're set at 20 hertz. Say we want to set this for tweeters. So we don't want to play 20 hertz on tweeters. So we're going to highlight this, take it back, and we're going to choose 2000 hertz. Most tweeters they start playing at 2000. So if you were using a mid on this, you're going to look at the specs on the mid. Most mids start around 80 to 100 hertz, some of them even 120. That would be the number you put here. And this should be linked together here. Yeah, it's linked. So now both of them are showing 2000. And if we scroll down here to the bottom, we see how the slope has changed. Now, even setting it at 2000, because of that slope, it's going down to about 150. But it's going to be really low volume here until it gets to negative 10 dB, and then it's going to ramp up. So we can try the old Linkwitz Riley, and it didn't change much. Now, here we have, where do we adjust slope? Okay, here we have the low pass slope. We have high pass, 6 dB. Let's go ahead and choose this to 30 and watch what the blue does. Okay, took that slope to 30 dB, and now you can see down here, we're creeping in at about 1500. So that would be fine because it's going to ramp in really hardcore right here. So it ain't going to pick up much under the 2000 hertz. So say that would be channel 1 and 2 for tweeters. Now people are like, explain compression drivers or horns and what they do. The best way to explain this is they bridge the gap between your tweeters and mid-ranges. They really like to come in, some of them 500 hertz. So we'll choose 500 hertz because that's what my tangos, they be picking in. So now we got both of them at 500. Now you can see the graph again, and I can turn, okay, so I got tweeters on, and I got the compression drivers here. We got that slope. We're going to change it up to the old Linkwitz Riley. No, we don't want Linkwitz there. Butterworth seems to come in a little slower. And we're going to choose, say, 36 octave. And now look how that came down. But now them old compression driver horns, they might not go all the way up here to 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz. So we're going to cut off the high on them at 1500 hertz. So now we got the tweeters going from 2000, which is 2 kilohertz, to 20 kilohertz. The horns, the way I set them right here, they are only going to play 500 hertz to 1.5 kilohertz. And now look at the graph down here, how it changed. This graph will show you the range that that speaker is going to play and how hardcore it's going to play it. So the 36 octave might be a little much. Let's go to 24. And we're going to bring this side. Yeah, you can do that here too. And see how it narrows that band? But that ain't bringing in a whole lot of band. I like that better. So this is just what the horn will play. So we've taken care of like channel 1 and 2 for tweeters, 3 and 4 for the horns. Let's go to 5 and 6. Now say we're going to run a mid-range here. And that mid-range, it says it plays, 80 hertz. So we're going to set the low cutoff at 80. Seems feasible, right? So we got them at 80. And it ain't going to play up to 2 kilohertz. Say they only play up to 1 kilohertz. So we put 1,000 hertz there for 1 kilohertz. And your speakers, if you got the paper that came in the box with them, it'll tell you what they play. I never keep track of that crap. I usually just go to the website for the company that makes them speakers. And I just like to look on there and get my numbers from there. So this first number, the 80 hertz, is where they start playing. So you want to cut out mostly everything below 80 hertz. And then the second number is where they top out at. They don't like to play anything higher than that. So this is where a DSP gives you that full control. And there again, we're set at 80, but it's playing pretty heavy down here to 20 hertz. And we want to cut that out. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll try 18 for our high pass like slope here. And now, you know, 20, 40, it's still coming in, and it's pretty sloped off. We'll go ahead and take it up to 24. So 20, 40, 60, it's about 50 hertz there it starts pulling in. You could go to 30, that looks fine. And you can see it's gonna play from there to 1,000. Well, it starts dipping off here probably at like 600 hertz. But our horns are gonna start picking up before then. And then when our horns taper off, the tweeters are gonna come in. So we got a pretty heavy line here going all the way across here if you factor in our tweeters and everything into the mix here. And if you add something else, like say that these mids are 6.5s and you want to use channel 7 and 8 for 8-inch speakers run through a different amp, and you got to keep in mind, every one of these you set, like channel 1 and 2 is tweeters, that has to be on 2 channels of a 4-channel or their own 2-channel amp. The same for 3 and 4 for the horns. All of these are RCA outputs on this DSP that have to basically go to their own amplifiers. So you could do channel 7 and 8 on 8-inch if your other mids are 6.5s. So you pretty much have to have separate amp channels for all of this. But trust me guys, it is worth it. Now, also down here, I could cut off to just channel 6, and this down here is an EQ that I can, you see how I can adjust it? Right now it's a 31 band. I can fine tune just that channel, or I can link it back to channel 5 and adjust both of them together. 31 right here. If I want to go to just a 10 band, then it's just a 10 band. 31 band, and it even tells you right here you're on channel 5 and 6. So that takes care of the tuning. This is pretty easy guys, because when you make changes you can look down here and see what changes you've made. And you know, here's your volume, like -25, -20, -10, getting to flat. It starts out 20 hertz, 30 hertz would be the first line, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It's got 100 here. So pay attention to your frequencies and set it up. And I've said before, I will get a notepad and I'll write DSP at the top of a page, and I'll put channel 1 and 2 and what I cross them over at and what they're for, whether it be tweeter or whatever. And I like to write down the frequencies that I used. I'll do the same for channel 3 and 4. You know, I'll put like it's for horns. These are the frequencies. And I'll do this for every channel. That way I can look back when I put everything in the car, and I can look at my note and be like, okay, channels 1 and 2 coming out of the DSP need to go to the channels of this amplifier, and I need to confirm that this amplifier, these channels are running my tweeters, etc. So now we've covered that part. My DSP is only a 12 channel, and right here I'm on output channels 1 through 8. So we got page 2 that is channels 9 to 16. My DSP is only 12 channels, so 13, 14, 15, 16 don't even apply to me. But you can set all of these up. Another cool thing is when you're in the car testing, if you want to turn the tweeters off, you just do that and they're turned off. You can turn them off. You can turn off whatever speaker you want to when you have the laptop hooked to it. And like I said, this is for a DSP, only for a laptop. Right now I'm on my home computer, and I can make a file on here, save the file. Right here at File menu, you can hit Save, Configure, and File. And you can save it. I can throw it on my laptop, go out to the car, power up the DSP, and drop the file in there, because it'll tell me right up here when my DSP is connected. Now that we've covered that, another cool thing is if you look down here, what source do you want to use? Do you want to use Bluetooth, USB, optic, auxiliary, high level, or low level? I always choose low level because I use my RCAs. It does come with a little knob that gives you 4 presets, and you can figure out what tune you want to save to what button. I don't mess with that. Now, Since I chose low level, I can go over here to input sum. Now I have 12 channels, so say channel 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I want to run off of my just front channel of my head unit. So I would save these how they are. Channel 5, 6, 7, and 8, I would turn off, and I would use, and you got to keep a notepad for this too, like input channel 1 and 2 would be front RCAs, channel 3 and 4 would be rear. So I go to channel 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 would be off of my, hold on. Oh yeah, channel 5 and 6 here. I want to use them off of my input rears on my head unit. So I would come down here to channel 3 for left, 4 for right, and then that's channel 5 and 6. I could also do 7 and 8 off of input channel 3 and 4 which would be rear for my head unit. Now I could jump over to channel 9 and say I want channel 9 to be run off of my subwoofer channel. You get the, okay, so we're on channel, output channel 9 and 10 here. So I would turn all these off. Sometimes all this gets confusing. But channel 5 and 6 would be my subwoofer outputs on my head unit. So 5 would be left, 6 would be right. It don't matter, they're monoed. But so 9 and 10 would be my subwoofer channels run off of the subwoofer output, because most head units only has 6 outputs. The 2 front, 2 rear, and then, 5 and 6 would be subwoofer output. Or you can say to hell with it and just use one set of RCAs and turn every single thing on for just them 2 RCAs, if that's how you want to do it. So you can run subwoofer and everything off here. If we can go back, say we're going to use channel 9 and 10 right here for subwoofer. Well, you can leave that at 20 hertz if you plan on playing that low. But me, I would drop it all the way down to 10. What the hell? I just put 120. I would drop it to 10 hertz. And, oh, hell, it won't even go no lower than 10. What the hell? There we go. Nope, it went right back to 20. So this DSP would kind of suck for subwoofers, because your low cutoff is at 20 hertz. It won't even go to 10. Which is another reason I always use my head unit, because I like to play 10 hertz. But what sucks about most amplifiers is the subsonic filter in the amplifier, which is always on, only goes down to 10 hertz. So this would kind of suck. But if you're not going to play that low anyway, you could leave that at 20, and then you could go up here and you could do an 80 hertz cutoff. And this down here give you a graph. You're kicking hard at 20 and it's going to taper off. If you don't want to play much past that 80 hertz range, then remember I showed you earlier, you can go here and adjust your slope. And now we're cutting off heavy, and that's at a 24. You can go all the way down to 48, and it's going to taper off pretty hard at the 80 hertz range. It's going to taper down lower on the volume. So this is how you set up a DSP, guys. Really, how I learned to do this, I couldn't find crap on YouTube about it. And I had bought a DSP, and I really prefer the ones you do on here rather than having all them buttons and the knob and the itty bitty screen on them, which that would kind of suck because you don't get near this control. But like this whole DSP, if I want to, I can just go down here and run Bluetooth only, and I can set every input right here to just Bluetooth. Or whatever. I can run it off just Bluetooth. I could even put a USB card in it and play music off of it. But if I wanted to just do Bluetooth, I could. I prefer to run off of the low-level input, which is my RCAs. But anyway, I really like this. And it seems to work really well for me. And how I learned to do it, I had bought a def box, had no clue how to set it up. And when you buy a DSP, they don't even send you this program or nothing. You kind of have to go back to wherever you bought it and look at the description. Like for the def box, I had to go to def box's website, look at the DSP, read the fine print, and it gave a link to download the software from. Same thing at DS18, it gave a link to where to get this program. Put it on a home computer or laptop or whatever, but I just loaded it up and played with it. And it's kind of self-explanatory after you play with it and figure it out. And then it becomes really easy. And the other day I made a quick tune, which this is what's cool here. I can go to File, Open Configuring File. Would you like to save it on PC? And no, because it's something I was playing with. I can scroll down and there's my wife's DSP file. There's my old one, and here's the one I just made for the Neo 8s. I can open it, and it'll show me the tune that I put in for my Neo 8s. Now, here's where old Jerry screwed up, guys. Oh, and you got time delay up here, too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But where I screwed up at is I was tuning my mids, and I have a Def Box 500x4 on my 8s. And it wasn't very loud. Like, not at all. I turned the gains, it's 4 channels, so I got 2 gains. I turned the gains all the way up on the amp. I never got a clip light. And I'm like, something's wrong because I should be getting enough RCA signal to clip the amp. Look right here, guys. Main volume, it's only at 68%. This is the main volume coming out of the head, the DSP. It should be up here around 100 because it's going to be clean. 99, 98. It should be at least 90, 95 to 98. And that's going to give me a whole lot more RCA signal. But I didn't even notice it the other day until I opened up the file like I just did here. And it pulled up the that my main DSP volume level was turned way down. 68%, I mean, that's a little over halfway up. So that's like volume 17 if your head unit goes to 30. So I should get a lot more volume when I link this back up with my laptop and go in and turn that volume up. So these are little things to look for on here. This is just a quick rundown of how to set everything up. I hope it helps you guys because I've had a lot of people ask for it. Here you get like an EQ view of everything. So this would be every channel turned on together. And believe it or not, I'm running all 12 channels because I run a lot of 4-channel amps. So I'm going to go through to channel. This is channel like 1 through 12. And it shows me the different colors. And a lot of them, since they're like channel 1 and 2 would be the same, you're not really going to see the yellow because the red's covering it up. So this here will show you that I am coming in roughly at 70 hertz on my mids. And you got to look at the angle line. They really start picking up heavy around the 90 hertz mark, which is perfect for a mid. It goes up and it's flat all the way across. It's a flat line. Through tweeter and everything, it's set flat. That's what I want. I want everything flat. And then I will literally drop this tune in. I could play with the EQ on here and adjust whatever. I like it flat because I play a ton of different styles of music. Now, when I get in the car, if my horns are too loud, I can turn the gains down on the amplifier. Or, if my horns are too loud, I can come in here. I know what channel 1 and 2 is. I can tell these are horns because these 4 channels, 4-channel amp, they start pulling at 500 hertz. I know that's my horns. If they are too loud, then right here, you see I'm at 3 dB. While it's playing, I can go down to say 4, 5. We'll say we went from 3 to 5 dB. It adjusted both channels at once. I can do it here again. And this will adjust the RCA input to those channels. and I will know it turned just the horns down. I could do the same with the tweeters or A-pillars that I have, or whatever. You can adjust the volume just like that, and when you're plugged into the DSP with your laptop and the music's playing, you can hear it in real time when you make changes on here. So I really hope this explained to you guys how to use the DSP. There's a lot more that this thing does than what I am showing you. I'm basically just giving you guys enough knowledge to put a DSP in your vehicle and adjust it to get it playing without blowing anything. And you guys, you know how you buy tweeters and they come with them little caps like that go on the positive wire that filter out anything below that frequency. You can cut them off and throw them away if you're using a DSP and you set your frequencies right. You don't need none of that stuff. You can just hook your positive and negative wires directly to the tweeter or whatever, because you've got the proper crossovers right here. Now, to me, this is really easy, and I encourage anybody that's wanting to get a DSP or already has one, if you're looking at one online, read the description. It's going to give you a link to download the software. Download it on your laptop or your home computer, open it up and play with it how I just showed you. And it's going to be the best way, because it's going to be hands-on of how to do it. And, you know, you got a lot of EQ settings for each channel. I mean, out of 12 channels, I can adjust 12 different EQs, or I can link them together and, you know, adjust 6 EQs. Because right here, like we go to channel 1, I can hit the unlink button. That anything I do would just be to say RCA left for channel 1. I can adjust it independently from 2, or you can adjust them both at the same time by linking them. Now, time delay. You do have a time delay here. I never mess with the time delay, because most time you want to set time delay in a car where everything hits the driver area at a certain point. I don't know. I've never messed with it, but you've got your seconds right here to adjust, like how many milliseconds you want to adjust them speakers from you in real time. Whatever. I don't know. I just leave everything kind of going normal to hit the center of the vehicle, because I have a demo vehicle. I want the passenger to get as good a sound quality as I'm getting in the driver's seat. And my Jeep's a really small cabin, and all the speakers are right there in the doors, except for my A-pillars that are right there in your face by the windshield. I've never messed with time delay. Do I have it? Oh, God, yeah, I got it. And like I said, you got a 31 band or a 10 band EQ for each channel you want to use. It's up to you guys. It's all here. Your DSP might not have Bluetooth and all that stuff. This one does. I've never played it through Bluetooth. I just use RCA. But, guys, there's not a whole lot going on this screen once you figure this top section out. And like I said, you know, you got output 1 through 8 to just 9 through 12. You got to go through the second page. Figure out how to set all your inputs. And I've got mine, like, set up some way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you kind of see what I got going on here. But when you want your final view, you go to EQ view, and it's going to show you where everything's working together if you turn them all on, and how your graph would look. So, you know, different things play at different frequencies. You kind of want everything to come into a small line here. I moved this green line here down when I just adjusted something showing y'all. I don't know, but it was right up here. But that's because I was up here adjusting shit, showing it to you. Anyway, guys, this is pretty much going to wrap it up. That's going to wrap it up. I've had a lot of you guys ask for this, and the wife agreed to film me doing it. So I figured I'd make a video. I hope this helps somebody. Don't overthink this, guys. It's a lot easier. I was scared to death when I first got my DSP. And until I downloaded the damn software and played with it on the computer, after I got playing with it, I'm like, hell, this ain't hard at all. They do a lot more than I do with it. But I just do the basics with it because I do want to run mids, tweeters, and horns. And I want them all crossed over and to be able to adjust each individual thing with the volume control, how I just showed you on here. If the horns are too loud, go in and turn them channels down a little bit or turn them up, whatever. But that's really all there is to it. Set your crossover points. Like I said, you get them from the website where you look at the speaker. It's going to give you in the specs the frequencies that it really plays through. I showed you how to set all that. Really pay attention to that blue bar at the bottom, because that's going to show you where everything comes in and tapers out. So pay attention to that when you're setting things up. And most importantly, guys, make a notebook. Write down what each channel is going to and where it's crossed over at. That is going to save your butt, because doing this build, like this past weekend, I looked at that notebook probably 20 times to figure all this out. But other than that, I hope this helps you. Don't be scared. Get a DSP. Play with it. It will make things sound better. Peace out, guys. And as always, bass on.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't